The gates of Hymir open with mechanical precision as I drive through. My old truck looks like a scar among the polished machines lining the valet row. A boy in a crisp uniform freezes when I hand him the keys. His eyes flicker with something between pity and judgment. I nod once and walk toward the grand ballroom. Inside, the air smells of roses, money, and control. Crystal chandeliers scatter light like broken glass. I adjust my dark blue dress, sleeves long enough to hide the worst scars. The sound of laughter wraps the room in a polished shell. Every face turns to measure how far I have fallen. Isabel appears first, her silver gown flowing like poured mercury. "You came," she says, voice sweet and hollow. Her perfume burns like memory. She glances at my arm. "You remembered to cover it," she whispers, as if it were shame. I smile without warmth. "It doesn't need covering." Before she can respond, Mother arrives. Margaret Wardwell shines with the confidence of inherited power. Her diamonds catch every light in the room. "You actually came, darling," she says, tone sharp enough to cut. Her gaze travels down my dress to my sensible shoes. "Let's try not to talk about, the army." "I know," I answer quietly. She pats my arm where the cuff hides the scar. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. A photographer waves us toward the family portrait area. Isabel steers me behind a tower of orchids. "The light's better here," she murmurs, arranging me out of sight. Father stands at the center, tall and silver-haired, owning every inch of space. "Happy birthday, Dad," I say when he finally turns toward me. His nod feels like dismissal, disguised as acknowledgement. "Don't let the children see that mark," Mother whispers again. It's upsetting. I swallow the heat rising in my chest. Across the room, polished men in tailored suits shake Father's hand. Laughter follows him like a loyal dog. I move toward the bar, order water, and observe. Conversations shift when I pass. Eyes flick away, mouths tighten, groups close ranks. I sip slowly, letting the cold glass ground me. My cousin Nate appears, grin too wide to be honest. "Good turnout tonight," he says, voice oily smooth. He angles his phone slightly toward me, camera blinking red. "Recording memories?" I ask. He pockets it quickly. "Of course. I've seen that trick in interrogation rooms." The chatter behind us turns thin, sharp-edged. "Poor Elena," someone whispers. Still unstable, I heard. The words slide into me like shrapnel. I keep my face neutral. Father raises a glass for a toast. He praises Isabel's company, his business partners, his grandchildren. My name never crosses his lips. Champagne flutes clink. I lift my water instead. Across the room, the family attorney watches me like a threat. I realize then why I was invited. Not for reconciliation. For reconnaissance. They didn't want me here. They needed me here for something I haven't yet uncovered. The celebration glitters on, hollow and dangerous as a minefield. A sudden silence ripples through the room like wind cutting silk. Glasses pause midair, laughter fades into unease. I follow the shift, instinct sharp as ever. At the entrance stands a man with silver hair and a soldier's spine. Colonel Harold Pike. His eyes find mine across the crowded ballroom. Recognition flashes like lightning. He starts toward me, unhurried, unstoppable. Each step carries the weight of command and memory. When he stops 3 feet away, I already know what's coming. "Echo walks in shadow," he says clearly. My throat tightens, but the words return by reflex. "But never walks alone." The old call and response of our unit echoes in the air. The room freezes. 1,000 curious eyes lock on us. Father's face drains of color, the smile turning brittle. Mother's hand finds her pearls, twisting them until they creak. Colonel Pike studies me, as if seeing through layers of disguise. "Sergeant Ward," he says, not as a question but a fact. I straighten unconsciously. "Sir." At ease, soldier, he replies, and something inside me steadies. He glances toward the guests, his voice carrying across the marble. This woman saved my nephew's life in Helmand Province. Whispers ripple outward, colliding with disbelief. She operated for 7 hours under fire, he continues. When the generator failed, she finished by flashlight. Every word lands like an explosion in the silence. I feel the old tremor of battlefield adrenaline, steady and cold. Mother steps forward, her smile stretched thin as glass. What a wonderful story, she says brightly. Elena always had an imagination. Colonel Pike doesn't look at her. She ran a field hospital under shelling, he says. She treated soldiers and civilians alike. He turns toward father. Curious that you never mentioned your daughter's commendations. Father's jaw tightens. She worked in logistics, he says flatly. Administrative duties. Pike raises one eyebrow, unimpressed. Logistics doesn't earn a Purple Heart. The air thickens. Somewhere, a camera flashes. Isabel fumbles for a polite smile, voice trembling. This really isn't the place for. Pike cuts her off with a calm tone that silences the room. Ma'am, there's no wrong place to honor courage. He turns to the crowd. 63 American soldiers lived because of her. The pianist's hands hover uselessly above the keys. All sound has been drained from the evening. I stand still, every muscle locked between pride and pain. The story they buried rises like smoke they can't contain. My father sets his glass down too hard, the crystal ringing out. He leaves without a word, the family attorney following close behind. Mother tries to recover, her laughter hollow. Memory problems, she says quickly. War can confuse people. Pike's eyes narrow, gray steel under soft light. Her memory saved lives, he replies. The guests murmur, shifting uneasily. For the first time, the truth stands taller than their lies. I meet Mother's eyes and see something new, fear. Colonel Pike places a steady hand on my shoulder. Good to see you again, Sergeant, he says softly. The words land, heavier than any medal I've ever received. Around us, the family's empire of appearances begins to crack. The night air bites as I leave the ballroom behind. Laughter fades, replaced by the dull hum of anger in my chest. I drive past iron gates, headlights carving through the dark. The house waits at the end of the long gravel drive, silent as a secret. 6 years since I've crossed its threshold, yet my hands remember the key. The lock clicks open with a sigh, like it has been waiting too. Inside smells the same, cedar, polish, control. Photographs line the hallway, all of Isabel's perfect milestones. My face is missing from every frame. Even the gap, where my graduation once hung, has been filled with her children. I move quietly, each step guided by memory. The floor creaks on the third board near the study, just like it used to. Father's office door is half closed, light leaking through the crack. I push it open slowly. The room is a shrine to ego, trophies, certificates, signatures of power. His leather chair gleams behind the desk, the same desk I once feared. I sit. The surface smells of ink and deception. I reach for the bottom drawer. A small brass lock resists, then gives under the old key I still carry. Inside, folders stacked with military precision. Each labeled year by year. The first one, my name typed neatly across the tab. I open it. My discharge papers stare back at me, altered. Where it should read, combat medic, someone typed logistics. The ink glows faintly under lamplight, freshly forged. My stomach knots. Another folder, VA payment records. 9 years of deposits, rerouted to a name I don't recognize. I follow the trail. Margaret Wardwell. Transfers to Isabel's mortgage. Private tuition for her children. Country club fees. They've been living on my blood money. Over 200,000 stolen from a veteran's benefits. My hands tremble once, then steady. Training takes over. I photograph every page, every signature, every number. The evidence fills my phone with digital truth. Another file catches my eye. Guardianship application. My name typed under, incompetent to manage financial affairs. Attached medical evaluations, forged under a fake psychiatrist's name. A note in my mother's handwriting. Submit after party. One more incident for credibility. The air feels heavy, electric, wrong. My entire life repackaged as instability. They wanted to erase me legally, permanently. I keep taking photos, slow and methodical. Each shutter click feels like justice loading around. I slide the papers back exactly as found, corners aligned perfectly. No sign of intrusion. I lock the drawer, pocket the key, breathe once. Outside, the faint hum of engines draws closer. Headlights flicker through the window. They're home. I slip through the back hallway, shoes silent on tile. The kitchen door opens easily beneath my hand. Cold air rushes in. I move across the yard, heart steady, mind clear. My truck waits where I left it. As I drive away, the house shrinks in the mirror like a wound closing. I whisper into the darkness, "You taught me to fight. You forgot I learned." The phone buzzes, one message from Pike. Protocol confirmed, safe house ready. I grip the wheel tighter, headlights cutting through the night. The war isn't over. It just changed battlegrounds. The coffee shop hums with quiet life when I arrive. Steam curls above polished cups, hiding the tension underneath. Colonel Pike sits near the window, posture straight as a rifle. Across from him, a woman in a gray suit flips through documents. "Catherine Wells," Pike says, "best veterans advocate you'll find." Her handshake is firm, eyes sharp enough to cut through lies. "Colonel told me about your family's little operation," she begins. I slide my phone across the table. Evidence, every file, every transfer, every forged signature. She scrolls through the photos, brows lifting slightly. They didn't even bother with proper formatting. Amateur greed. Pike leans back, voice steady. "We'll go through legal channels, but they'll fight dirty." "They already did," I reply. Wells nods once. "Then we'll hit harder." The bell above the door jingles. 3 figures enter, their movements too synchronized to mistake. Shadow echo survivors. Rodriguez with the prosthetic hand, Winters with his sharp grin, Mendy's quiet but watchful. They spot me and salute casually, the kind only soldiers understand. "Long time, Sergeant," Rodriguez says. "Too long," I answer. We sit. Pike explains the situation, short and tactical. By the time he finishes, the air feels charged. "They stole from one of ours," Rodriguez mutters. "Then we take it back," Mendy's adds. Wells smiles faintly. "I like this unit already." We plan the counterstrike, every detail precise. Pike outlines the legal path. Wells prepares the court petition. The others draft sworn statements of my service. Their words are better than medals, truth written by those who saw it. Hours pass. When I step outside, the sky is fatting gold to blue. My phone vibrates. Nate. The cousin with too many smiles and too few morals. I answer. "Your father's worried," he says smoothly. "Meet me tomorrow. We can fix this." I agree, voice calm though my pulse quickens. Pike meets my eyes. "Record everything." Next day, the apartment feels smaller with him inside. Nate's cologne stings like deceit. He sits, pretending comfort. "Family just wants to help," he begins. "Help," I echo softly. "By redirecting my benefits, or by forging a psychiatrist note." He blinks, then recovers with a practiced smile. "Temporary measure. You've been through trauma. Dad just wants control," I finish for him. His face tightens. "Don't twist things. You're confused, Elena, unstable." The recorder under my blouse hums to life, unseen. "You really think a court will believe a broken soldier?" he says. Over us. The arrogance drips from each word. I stay silent, let the rope uncoil. "It's for your own good," he insists. "You can't manage on your own." I stand slowly. "You're right," I say evenly. "I can't manage being lied to." He exhales, smug and certain. "You'll thank us later." The door closes behind him, like the click of a trigger. I lift the recorder, still blinking red. Every word saved. Every lie trapped. Outside, thunder rolls in the distance. This time, the storm belongs to me. The courthouse looms against the morning sky, solid and cold. My dress uniform fits like armor, metals gleaming under pale light. Each step up the marble stairs feels heavier than the last. Inside, cameras click, whispers rise, curiosity thick as smoke. Colonel Pike walks beside me, silent strength in every stride. Behind us, Shadow Echo veterans form a quiet wall of loyalty. In the front row, Father sits flanked by his lawyers. Mother's pearls tremble against her throat. Isabel avoids my gaze, her phone clutched like a weapon. The bailiff calls for order, and Judge Elena Hayes enters. Her eyes sweep the courtroom, sharp and unreadable. My pulse steadies. The first witness takes the stand. Sergeant Rodriguez adjusts his prosthetic and begins to speak. "She saved 6 men under fire," he says clearly. "Didn't stop until every one of us was breathing." Silence follows his words like reverence. Winters testifies next, voice low but steady. "She ran the med tent through mortar strikes. Didn't lose a single civilian." The judge nods once, eyes softening almost imperceptibly. The VA representative presents documents on a screen. Transfers, forged records, missing payments. $210,000 redirected, he says flatly. To accounts owned by Margaret and Isabel Wardwell. A murmur ripples through the crowd. Father's lawyer objects, but the evidence stands firm. Then comes the recording. Nate's voice fills the courtroom, smooth and cruel. "You're unstable, Elena. The court will never believe you." Gasps follow. Mother's hand grips Father's sleeve until her knuckles whiten. Isabel rises suddenly. "She's always been dramatic," she says. "She needs treatment, not attention." I step forward before she can continue. "May I present additional evidence?" I ask. Permission granted. I place a worn folder on the table. Inside lies a faded essay, my handwriting intact. "This was my college scholarship essay," I say. "And this," I add, lifting a second page, "was Isabel's winning entry, identical word for word." The judge studies both papers, lips tightening. "Noted," she says, tone icy. Father leans forward, voice low and desperate. "We only wanted to protect her." "By erasing her," Pike interjects quietly. No one answers. The judge clears her throat. "This court finds substantial evidence of fraud and coercion." Her gavel strikes once, sharp as thunder. All Wardwell assets are frozen pending restitution. Full repayment of stolen funds ordered with interest. Guardianship petitions permanently prohibited. The room exhales in shock. Mother starts to weep, tears smearing her perfect makeup. Father stares straight ahead, face gray, pride shattered. Isabel gathers her purse and slips out before the reporters swarm. I stand still, breathing through the weight of victory. Pike places a hand on my shoulder, voice low. "Justice served, Sergeant." I look toward the window, morning light breaking across the seal. For the first time in years, the air feels clean. No more shadows. No more silence. The war finally ends here, in a courtroom instead of a desert. 6 months pass before I realize I'm breathing freely again. The world feels different now, steady, grounded mine. My days begin without fear of phone calls or forged papers. The uniform still hangs in my closet, pressed and waiting. Sometimes I trace the ribbons, remembering what they cost. The courtroom victory made headlines for a week, then faded. But for me, it never fades. The truth still burns quietly, steady as a heartbeat. This morning, I stand behind a podium at a veterans conference. Rows of faces watch, some young, some worn by war. My voice carries through the hall, calm and certain. They said I was unstable, I tell them. They called my scars evidence of weakness. But scars are proof we survived. Applause rises like a tide, honest and unfiltered. Afterward, a young woman in uniform approaches me. "You helped me file my claim last month," she says shyly. "They denied it twice, but I kept fighting. You taught me how." I smile, the kind that comes from somewhere deep. Outside, sunlight glints off parked motorcycles and canes. Pike waits near the door, older but still unshakable. "You've built something real here," he says. "Shadow Echo keeps walking," I answer. He nods once proud. At home, the apartment feels lighter than it used to. No locked drawers, no hidden evidence, no ghosts in corners. On the wall hangs a simple frame, Maria Lopez's letter. Her handwriting curls across the page, steady and kind. Louis is 17 now. He wants to be a nurse. Each time I read it, the ache in my chest eases a little. Next to it hangs the photo of our unit, 8 faces frozen in time. 3 gone, 5 still fighting their own invisible wars. I touch the glass, whisper their names softly. The leather cuff of Lieutenant Garcia rests beneath the frame. Its edges worn smooth by years of service and survival. I used to wear it to hide the scar. Now it sits in the open, a relic of both pain and pride. The knock at the door startles me. A courier stands outside, holding a thin envelope. Inside, confirmation from the court. Restitution paid. The Wardwell estate sold to cover the debt. Their empire finally turned to dust. I fold the paper once, no triumph, just quiet closure. I make coffee, open the window, let the wind move through the room. It smells of rain and renewal. My reflection catches in the glass, strong, steady, unafraid. The woman staring back no longer hides from her past. The battlefield is behind her, but the purpose remains. I sit at my desk and begin writing a new proposal. A fund for women veterans, named after Shadow Echo. For those who walked through fire and came back silent. For those whose stories deserve daylight. The clock ticks softly, marking peace instead of time lost. Outside, the sky clears to an honest blue. I whisper to the empty room, certain and free. The truth speaks for itself. Evening light spills across the kitchen floor like gold dust. The city hums outside, alive but distant. I pour a cup of coffee, the same brand we drank overseas. Its scent pulls me back to desert nights and quiet courage. The leather cuff rests beside my cup, still carrying his name. Garcia. A reminder that none of us walk alone. My phone buzzes with a message from Pike. "Mission accomplished, Sergeant. Stay steady." I smile, knowing what he means. This was never about revenge. It was about reclaiming truth. I glance at Maria's letter one last time. Her words still shine. "You showed my son what bravery looks like." That's the legacy worth keeping. Not medals, not money, but memory that heals. Outside, thunder rolls far away, harmless this time. The world keeps moving, and I move with it. No orders. No shadows. Just freedom. I close the window, breathe in the quiet. The scar on my arm catches the light, silver instead of shame. I whisper to no one, maybe to everyone. I made it home. And for the first time, I finally believe it.